Hi, this is Karen Smith, one of the founders of the online community for ladies who play stringed instruments, as well as women in the music industry, Fret Sisters. We host a weekly podcast on Anchor. If interested in interview, contact us through Facebook at Fret Sisters and send us your videos on Instagram or YouTube. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hey, what's good, everybody, and welcome to Fret Sisters Between Frets, a space where female musicians who play string instruments meet and discuss all things music. I am Shawn Marshall, and we have a great show for you today. We have Gabrielle Logan, also known as Guitar Gabby, with us today. She's a singer-songwriter, guitarist, manager, and band leader of all-female band, the Tulips. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm seeing you've been making all these moves and traveling. You just got back from Canada over the weekend.
We're actually still here. I'm in Canada right now.
Wow! Ooh, I love this app. So was guitar your main instrument growing up, or you just played other instruments?
I played other instruments. I played the clarinet. I played the oboe, a little bit of piano, but guitar and clarinet stuck the most, and then guitar obviously stuck. Guitar lasted past everyone else, all the other instruments.
Wow. So, what or who influenced you as a guitarist? What made you just I just want to pick up the guitar and just played it ever since?
Honestly, I wanted to play what I was hearing in my head, and I remember asking my mom to give me an instrument that I would be able to do that with, and I remember that's why she put me in piano lessons, and then I picked up the oboe and clarinet and all that kind of stuff, and I learned how to read music and do all of that. But guitar, it wasn't until I found, or I started teaching myself guitar, that I realized, okay, this is it. This is the instrument that I want to play, and that's what helped me convey what it was I was hearing in my head, music wise.
Wow. So you just graduated from Vermont Law School as the environmental lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And did you learn from as becoming a lawyer, did you learn some of that towards your life in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always worked in music law and studied music law through my undergrad and through other attorney mentors that I've had over the years, and family friends who work in the legal business. And so I've always been around entertainment law at large, but what made me want to hone in specifically on music law and environmental law are those two areas are extremely important to me. They're very specific and have very specific impacts to communities of color. And so I wanted to be able to be the middle person between the government and our community. So I want to be able to consult with musicians and bands and advocate on behalf of people, whether it's in environmental law or music law. But since both of those are my fields of interest and my fields of specialty, that's kind of what I guess really overall guided me to even go to law school to begin with, because I wanted to be able to convey things in layman's terms and advocate, really.
Well, that is great to use music as a platform to share your message to everyone, and I really admire that. And so you performed with Diamond from Cranmar. How did you get that opportunity?
It found me. It found me. I was actually I hadn't really been playing out that much at the time. I had just finished putting up a previous black rock band that I had called Bye Bye Love in college, and that kind of fell apart after a couple of years. And just one day, Diamond's management hit me up on social media, on Instagram, and said that they needed a guitarist for a music video. And so I took it as an opportunity to get back into the music industry full steam ahead. At that point, I was like, all right, I'm ready. I think I've recovered enough. And I've learned from my lessons, and I'm ready to move forward. So her management hit me up. I did the music video. And then from there, we did other music videos with her. And then we toured with Diamond And so we were Tulips in addition to Girl Code. That's what we were called when we played with Diamond, and it was a different group of members, but it was still the Tulips band from a business perspective.
Well, about your band too, is like, how did you come up with that name?
Initially, it was the number Tulips. I think we had talked about it in rehearsal because we wanted something that said femininity, but I also understand that being a woman is not just something that that you experience from like your sex, from like what you're born as. I realized that there are feminine qualities that men sometimes will take on, or maybe they will maybe they'll identify with some qualities of femininity, and I don't think that it's a problem. I think it's actually great that men express the feminine side of them. Beyonce did, we were talking about this the other day, but Beyonce did an excellent job of that during Beychella with the dancers, having them express the masculine and the feminine side of what it is to be a man and a woman. So anywho, going back to Tulips. So yeah, it was the number Tulips, and then I changed it to Tulips, like the flower, because I realized that tulips are extremely diverse, and I looked at that as what Black women are, extremely diverse and colorful, and it's still a tulip. It's still just as special. So that's kind of the history with the name.
Well, let's talk about your EP, Queens of a New Age. How did you came up that as a title, and what's impacted that in?
I came up with that title. I listened to a lot of rock and roll growing up, and I know, and I'm sure everybody can speak to this, but I noticed that there was such a large gap in the music industry, especially now that it's turning and kind of taking on a new structure with new generations that are coming in from the business side as well as the artist side. So I wanted to be able to have a name that when you heard it or when you read it, you said, damn, these queens are not playing. They came to slay. They came to take over and take what's theirs. So Queens of the New Age is a name that represents us being queens coming into this new age of the world of the music industry, and really just taking what's ours and not asking for it anymore.
So ever since your band developed and you've been traveling all over the country, even Canada, which it still is now. So what was your most memorable moment when you was like traveling and everything? What was your most memorable gig out of your career?
That's a good question. I would say there's a couple of them, but one of the ones that pops into my mind first is this past February we opened up for the Indigo Girls, and it was our 4th or 5th time opening up for them, and that was a really dope show because we came together in Florida, and we had not really fully had a rehearsal in quite a while, but it just shows how excellent we all are at our instruments and our craft. But we were able to come together, and we came up with an arrangement to Smells Like Teen Spirit a couple of hours before the show, and we performed it. We were all really nervous, but we all know each other's energy on stage well enough, and we know how to be in sync with each other. So that was really dope because we pulled off a kick-ass performance. The show was great. I sometimes watch the video as a fan of my own band, but it was really dope just to see us all being in our element on stage in front of a group of a sold out show. It was a fully sold out show. So that was one of my most memorable experiences. And then I would say our first Afropunk in Brooklyn, that was in 2017. That was a lot of fun. I was nervous, but we all were nervous, but yeah, it was a really dope show.
Well, within those days you've been traveling, and you've actually been receiving a lot of endorsements from many companies. Can you tell our listeners what your endorsements were?
Yeah, I am endorsed with Ernie Ball, EMG Pickups, ESP Guitars. I have an endorsement deal with Laney Amps. I'm also endorsed with Kurt Mangan Strings, Empire Ears. There's a couple of Mono Bags. Um, and recently I just got endorsed some Steve Clayton picks. Yeah. And Boss, I'm trying to trying to talk to Boss. So Boss, if you hear this, get on board.
Yeah, because they have some great amps too. Like, I love the amps.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm.
So you still touring? So do you know like what or where are you going to next?
Yes, we leave here tomorrow, and then I'll be in Brooklyn next week, and then we're all really gearing up for our festival circuit. We have a lot of Pride festivals coming up. We're playing the Chicago Pride Festival in June, and the Decatur, Illinois Pride Festival in October, and we are headlining the Seattle Pride Festival in at the end of June. And then we'll be back in Canada actually at the end of July. So we have a lot of movement between now and the end of our tour, which is July, at the very end of July. So yeah.
Wow, that's you're just busy, just making yourself busy.
Yeah.
So if to any aspiring female musicians, young and old, you have any like advice or tips to them?
Yeah, I would say don't give up. I know it's super cliche, but I think that we all could do better at understanding deep down what that means when someone says don't give up, because I think a lot of times there's a gap between our conscious and our subconscious. And Dara and I were talking about this briefly this morning. She was telling me about an exercise that she's doing where she's teaching her brain to operate off of the opposite thing that she was taught, which is oftentimes in the music industry or in the world, really, women, especially Black women, are placed at the bottom of the totem pole. We're automatically told no without even being given the benefit of a doubt. So over time, you just start to believe that certain things are not possible. And I find myself sometimes struggling with that. I sometimes find myself, about to reach out to a large festival, and then I say, I don't know if we can do it. But just watching and breathing in the energy of all of my other bandmates has really helped me and all of us to empower other women that are watching us to don't take no as an answer, and to, again, not give up, and to keep going no matter what, and to learn the industry. I think it's extremely important to learn the industry that you are partaking in. So I would say learn the music industry and be your own boss. Why not?
That's so motivating. So you tell all our listeners like where to find you on social media or website?
Yes, you can follow me at Guitar Gabby, and that's everywhere on Facebook and Instagram and all that. And then you can follow my band at the Txlips, at the Txlips band. And you can find us on social. That's our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube, and our website is txlips.com. So yeah, Guitar Gabby and at the Txlips band.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gents. I would like to thank Guitar Gabby for joining with us today. And also you can follow
thank
her.
You for having me.
No problem. And make sure you follow her on social media, her band Tulips on her website. And if you like to support the Tulips, make sure you go to their website to give information about donation or merchandise.
Please.
Because I know that I want them to travel their message all across the world, not just the United States, not just North America, but beyond that.
Yeah.
And if you want to catch up with us, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Fret Sisters, and like our Facebook page on Fret Sisters One. See what we're doing behind the scenes, what we up to outside of Fret Sisters, or our little shenanigans and whatnot. Future episodes of this podcast. And until then, I'm Sean Marshall, and thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Riff Girl, what you got? Made by Sean Marshall.